Welcome to the Direct Farm Podcast, the go-to resource for farms across the U.S. looking to grow and manage their business. Tune in weekly to hear tips and tactics from our most successful farmers on how to increase sales, access more customers, and save time and money. We'll also speak with industry experts, business leaders, and partners to share the latest farm business trends selling direct to market. Welcome to the Direct Farm Podcast. I'm Rory, your host for today's episode. We've got a great conversation for you today with Barn2Door's Content Marketing Manager, Rachel Neal. Welcome, Rachel. We're going to be talking about the Academy Pass today. So to start out, what is Barn2Door Academy?
Hey Rory, good to be here. So Barn2Door Academy is really an in-depth series of classes providing best practices and tactical guidance relating to a specific topic. So there are 3 parts. It's spread out over 3 weeks. It's 1 hour per class, so it's really doable and can, be doable for a lot of different schedules. But it's hands-on educational courses taught by farmers for farmers, and we're just providing best practices and insights backed by data.
Yeah, definitely making it something that can align with farmers' schedules is something we're always trying to do. I know we've updated that schedule a few times to try and make sure that we can get as many farmers in those classes as possible, and it can align with when they're busy, and we can try and get them when they're not so busy. So right now with Barn2Door, you can access these academies with the Barn2Door Academy Pass. So what is the Academy Pass?
Yes, so the Academy Pass, it's $39 a month, and it really gives you unlimited access to all of our Academy classes. So right now we have 5, which is quite a bit considering we started the year out with 2.
Yeah.
So we've made a huge leap this year. But what's really nice about the Pass is that you have unlimited access, so you can attend multiple classes, you can, learn new skills. We're always updating the classes too. So we're always, staying on top of the latest trends, the latest insights, always implementing the most recent data. So it's really nice, and it's a really great value for the amount of information farmers get.
So the Academy Pass, it's definitely a ton of content that farmers can use and attend, and they can do these classes month over month. How can farmers get the Academy Pass?
Yes, so farmers can log in into their Barn2Door account, and in the back end with our add-ons, they can add Barn2Door onto their subscription.
That easy?
It's really easy.
That's awesome. Great. Well, so we've mentioned that there are multiple classes. What classes is Barn2Door currently offering?
Yes. So again, we have 5 classes. So there's social media. So this is like an overview of Facebook and Instagram best practices. There's email marketing and MailChimp. So diving into the Barn2Door MailChimp integration, newsletters versus emails versus order reminders. And we also have content development, which is a really great one in order to build your brand or hone your messaging across your website, your email, and your social media account. And then the 2 new ones is delivery, which is in partnership with Routifit. That one's kicking off here in July, or has already started, so that's really exciting. So delivery best practices, which is super fun. And then next month we have our new Finance Academy, so diving deep into managing the books, how to efficiently grow your business, and that's taught by a QuickBooks Pro advisor.
Yeah, and it's really cool because I feel like all of these classes, they're kind of based on the feedback we've gotten from farmers in what areas they're having trouble with. Because obviously with Barn2Door, it's the tool, it's the back end tool to be able to help you sell your products. But at the end of the day, a lot of the marketing still falls on the farmer, and they have to know how to use these tools to help them save the time. So all of these things, whether it's social media or MailChimp or QuickBooks, Routifit, routing software, doing delivery, there's kind of various levels you can do them at. And so we take it one step at a time in the academies, going from very basic MailChimp skills, tagging your customers, getting your contact list uploaded, to by the end you're talking about email automation and A/B testing and things like that. And so it's really cool that we get to walk through that with farmers and teach them the steps so that they can be using these tools to effectively market or communicate or just manage their business.
Exactly. Yes. And on that point, it really embraces the fact that you can join at any kind of like skill type or level you have. So if you have no experience with social media, you can jump into the course, and you can, by the end of the 3 classes, you can have a complete social media posting schedule. Or if you've never sent a MailChimp email, by the end of the class, you'll know the difference between when to send an email, when to send a newsletter, and what information to include in each.
Yeah.
And like you said, all of these classes are based on data. And so that's how these topics were chosen, because we know that these tactics and these practices really work to aid farmers and their success. And so we just want farmers to embrace them, teach them, the time saving ways to do it, and then see those sales come in.
Yeah. And for some of these things, it's like literally instant transfer to sales, especially with something like MailChimp, where if you get your email marketing down right, you can be sending out a single email and generating hundreds or thousands of dollars off those.
Yeah, we know one farm over in North Carolina. She sends out her weekly newsletter and she generates 80% of her weekly orders just from that one email.
Crazy. This is powerful stuff. Powerful tools. Awesome. Well, walk us through kind of maybe like the history of Academies at Barn2Door. How did these kind of start up? Why did they start up, and how have they evolved since then?
Yeah, great question. So Barn2Door Academy debuted in spring of 2021, and we started with a Facebook class, an Instagram class. They were two separate ones, and then we also had our MailChimp email marketing course, and they were initially taught by Barn2Door success team members. And the goal has always been to offer live virtual classes to teach these best practices. And we found that when we break down these specific tactics for farmers that we know will generate results, it can be really powerful for them to grow their businesses, to get sales like we were just talking about. And so since then, like we've mentioned, we've really switched up the curriculum, we've switched up the format, we keep updating new things. So today, the main difference is that farmers are teaching farmers in these courses. And we know that people of all industries love to learn from their peers. And so by having farmers come on who are experts within these categories themselves and show, their tools, their tactics, what they do, it's been really powerful, and it's really created this virtual room full of like connection and sharing experiences and brainstorming and really coming together to foster that. So that's really cool. It's
really awesome. I get to sit in on a lot of the academies, just hosting and welcoming people. I don't teach. I let the pros do that. But it is really cool because, we can talk about delivery all day long and the best ways to do it, but being able to bring Bree Cassidy from Terra Firma Farm into the classroom and have her tell people about her delivery program, which she's doing like almost 80 deliveries a day at this point. That's who you want to be hearing from, or tapping into our other farm advisors like Valerie to teach the MailChimp Academy, Valerie Lumen with Grass Fed Cattle Company, who's literally using the email automations, plugging these in, generating revenue for her farm with MailChimp. That's who you want teaching the MailChimp Academy. So that's kind of my favorite aspect of it, is getting to have these farmers lead the class.
Absolutely, yeah. And something about the farmers too is because they, are in the front lines doing these things themselves, they come to us and they're like, hey, like, did you know, like, I learned things from them too, which is awesome. So it's really cool to see like Valerie implements her automatic welcome stream in MailChimp, and that's just a really good way to spur, orders straight off the bat as someone subscribes to your newsletter. So these little like tips and tricks that the farmers are using, and just being able to amplify their voice, give them a platform, and then have all of our farmers learn from them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Rachel, I'm curious, what is your role in putting together these academies?
Yeah, so there's a lot of work that goes on producing these courses. So like I said, there's 3 classes per course. So when you think about it, that's 15 different presentations. And we were just talking about this earlier today. But the team, it really starts with team planning. As you're a part of this planning process. And so when we decide on what topic we want to do, so for example, the Delivery Academy, when we were thinking about this topic, we had to be very methodical and thoughtful about how we wanted the course to play out. So we start with, outlining what each class will entail, because we obviously want it to be very consumable in an hour format, but then also really teach best practices as well. So it starts with the outline. We throw in, the talking points for the slides, and then that's when the fun part starts with building out, the talking points and really hitting in on those data points, because we want to share and amplify those tactics that lead to success.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like laying out the steps of what goes into these almost simplifies it, because even just like outlines alone, that's a lot of content to be pulling, and you want to make sure that you're fleshing out the entirety of a topic kind of at the 201, 301, and 401 levels. That's the levels of each classes that we do. So it definitely is a lot of content to be put into those, and then taking that and diving into data on it and building out those slide decks. It's a lot of work.
There's a lot of planning, like what items are you offering for delivery? what are your routes? How do you even decide what routes? Are you choosing it by zip code? Are you going by neighborhood? Like there's a lot of different nuances that even varies by each farm because there's so many different paths that you can take it. So like you said, being very methodical about what kind of content is in each class, that also leads a consecutive class as well and builds upon each of the classes before that.
Yeah. And that's kind of also a great point, and that it's great that these are live classes because they are live. We don't record them. And so when you're attending it, it's a one-of-one experience. And it's really cool because I think farming has so many nuances and there's so many specific ways that a beef farmer might want to market their business versus a dairy farmer or a produce farmer. And so making it live and having instructors that literally do the same thing, they can speak to all those people. And if you have questions like, I just started doing bundle boxes, like how should I be marketing that on social media, and they can speak to that specific question. Or I'm just about to launch my CSA, what's the best way to promo that with email marketing? It's cool to be able to get it into those specifics in the live class and get real-time answers, really.
Yeah, and even with the content development one, like maybe you're going through the website design process and, you get your form and you're like, oh, I don't know, how to write about my brand or what to say about our story. And that class literally step-by-step walks you through like methodically how to think about how to write your about page of your website or how to use email marketing and what content to put in there, things like that. So.
Yeah. Well, we've definitely talked about how these classes are led by farmers. Who are the teachers of these academies? How were these people chosen?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we call them our marketing development experts, our MDEs. We love acronyms here at Barn2Door. And they are literally what their titles are. They are experts within these different categories of our classes. And so we select them very strategically, and we're really always are looking for farmers who are on the cutting edge of implementing best practices or that have developed new and unique techniques to engage their audiences. Maybe it's time-saving tactics, things like that. So you named a few, but we have Valerie of Grass-Fed Cattle Co., and we have Camille from Little River Farm. So it also runs the gambit too of protein, produce, dairy. So it's really nice to see that variation with our instructors as well.
Yeah, I think we're up to 4 or 5 MDEs now, which is really cool because we originally had 2, Joelle Orem of Orem Farms. That was the first one, and then Valerie, like we've said. So being able to grow that team has been really fun too.
And what's nice too is they all host Connect as well.
Yeah.
So if you have additional questions after attending one of the classes, you go join a Connect session with them and you can further continue the live conversation with them, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's really great because it's an hour long, but it's a packed hour. Every class we're covering a lot. We're diving through things. And sometimes we're able to, go through and answer every little question, but sometimes we have to keep the train moving because there's so much more to cover. And so Connect is a great chance to be able to connect or follow up with those people after the fact and still be able to pick their brain. So why do we choose to do these classes virtually in person? Why do we choose to do these classes live versus a pre-recorded thing that maybe we just send out to people?
Yeah, so having a live class, it really gives the farmers the opportunity to connect with others. And we also know farmers are really busy. And so setting aside and having this on your calendar, it's 1 hour for 3 weeks. And so you're really putting in the time and effort to solely focus on one topic, which that's a lot of the feedback we get is, wow, it's just really nice to sit down and fully devote time to learning about one thing that they really wanted to learn about. And then what's also nice is in these virtual meetings, like you said, it opens it up for live Q&A, connection not only with the instructor, but connecting with other farmers too. So I know in the Social Media Academy, we have people post, their Instagram and Facebooks. And so we know what people are following each other. And it's really easy to foster, bouncing ideas off of each other and fueling that connection from farmers across the country.
Yeah, even our MDEs, the people leading the classes, they'll subscribe to the newsletter, maybe say in the MailChimp class, they'll subscribe to the newsletter of a farm that's a participant in the class, and they'll get their emails every week or every month for forever, and they remember those people. They're able to see them implementing the practices that they got to teach them. And so that's a really cool community building opportunity too. And it's a great way to keep each other sharp because you get to see, oh, what's this farm over on the West Coast doing that I could implement on my farm in the East Coast? And yeah, it's definitely a cool element there with all the community building. Rachel, like you said, we've added 3 academies pretty much in the last 4 or 5 months to the schedule. What academies do you see us maybe adding next?
Like you said, we've really been so heads down on developing delivery and finance. Then now that they're finally in the water, it's fun to be like, okay, what's next? I don't know. I think we've been talking a little bit. We could see taxes in the future. That's such an important topic, just like finances, and that can have its own 3-part series.
Yeah.
There's so much to dive into. I think another one potentially could be like inventory or packaging best practices. I know the success team gets a lot of, questions around that, and they provide a lot of guidance there. So I think that could be a good one. And subscriptions.
Yeah.
I think subscriptions could be a really good one. There's just so much we can do with any of these topics. And so that's the fun thing too. We're always expanding our course offerings. So
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm excited to see what'll be next. So we run these academies every month. We do 2 a month, and they rotate between the 5. So not every month is the same, especially if you're on that Academy Pass. It's nice. By the time you actually re-encounter an academy, there's likely updates to that software platform like MailChimp or QuickBooks. And so there's new things to learn, and we do work really hard to keep these up to date. But what's coming up in August? What academies will be featuring that month?
Yeah, so we will be debuting our new Finance Academy. It is sold out at this moment,
crazy.
which is crazy because we just launched it. So that will be coming up again in the fall. So keep your eye on your email if you're really interested in attending that finance class. And then we'll be having the very popular social media class again.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be great to have that. I think the last time we had that was June.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And so maybe for people that are listening, I know we also just did a podcast about the Finance Academy and with Taylor, who's going to be leading that class. Why is that an important one? Why might people want to keep an eye out for that when it comes available again?
Finances are so important, and farming is such a nuanced industry. So farm finances are, of course, very unique. So when it comes to managing the books, understanding, profit versus loss, expenses versus income, those are all really important things to any business, especially farm businesses. And so Taylor, who's a QuickBook Pro advisor, she's also a farmer. She will be hosting it, and she'll really be going into best practices related to the Barn2Door and QuickBooks integration, because we know that farmers who on Barn2Door that have QuickBooks are our most successful farmers. They gain insights into their numbers, and it really helps them plan ahead for the future as well and see in the areas that they are profitable. So
Actually, I think when I was talking to her the other day, she said something like, finances is something that you have to do. Like, you just have to if you want your farm to stay afloat. And so you might as well be good at it and then do more than stay afloat. You can actually use finances as a way to plan ahead for success and grow your business. And so, yeah, it's going to be great to really dive into even just starting with the basic financial statements, and then going from there is going to be really cool.
Yeah, and finances, it's an overwhelming topic.
Definitely.
Like, there's so much to it. And like, I know even when I think about it, I'm like, oh man, like, where do we start?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot to it. So Taylor is really going to break it down step by step and make it very easy to understand. And by the end of the course, if you are currently intimidated by finances or need that extra help, you're going to be a pro, or you're going to have someone on your side like Taylor that'll help you.
Yeah, definitely. I know she's really excited to lead it. And it's great too. She and her family have their own hobby farm, which is great that she can have that kind of insight. But then also she works with a lot of farms. I believe she's located over in Virginia. So it's great to be able to bring in somebody that kind of has that prior knowledge already too. All right. So as a final, like maybe pitch, or as the person who puts together the content for these academies, Rachel, give me 2 reasons why farmers should sign up for the Academy Pass.
Oh, there's so many reasons. I think the first reason would be it's really rare to have the time and the opportunity to sit down and just focus on one specific topic, and just the community aspect of being in it and learning with other farmers from across the country, I think is such a huge bonus. And then the second one, the Academy Pass, it's a super great value to learn all of this information that we're providing. It's all of these tactics we're sharing, it's proven to help farmers increase sales and save time and save money. And it's only 1 hour a week. I know farmers are so busy, but you can just put 1 hour a week. You're bound to learn at least one thing that you can implement that'll help you drive sales.
Yeah, definitely. And I think too, if you asked any farmer, hey, would you want to, for 1 hour a week, to sit down in a room of other farmers and bounce ideas off of each other about how to grow your business, how to be successful as a farm business? I think everybody's saying yes to that. So it's really cool that this kind of provides that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for joining, Rachel.
Thank you.
I want to extend my thanks to Rachel for joining us on this week's podcast episode. Here at Barn2Door, we're humbled to support thousands of farms across the country who implement sustainable agricultural practices and support their local communities. To learn more about Barn2Door, including access to numerous free resources and best practices for your farm, go to barn2door.com/resources. And to learn more about Academies, click the link in the description of this episode. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. For more free farm resources, tips, and tactics that our most successful farms use to grow and manage their business, visit barn2door.com/resources. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Direct Farm Podcast to automatically download our weekly episodes. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.